What's up, everybody? It's Christopher J, Sick Hands RBN. I'm out in Exton PA. The mall out here might be dead, but their Round1 Arcade is very much still alive. In fact, they've got a ton of brand new games here that we haven't found anywhere else today. Let's go check it out and see what's going on. Come on in. Okay, since the Exton Square Mall is no longer open to the public, there are only two ways to enter this Round1 from now on. You can either get in from the east side parking garage, or you can come in from the south parking lot, and that's where we're at now. The south parking lot drops you right into this first section we're going to take a look at, which is mostly ticket redemption games. Let's check it out. This corner over here has a few non-ticket games, but it's really just a small handful. In the middle of this redemption section, there's a few rail shooter games thrown in. And then over here in this back area, we've got all the racing games mixed together. Everything from Initial D and Maximum Tune to Mario Kart and Superbikes. Now, along the back walls over here is where they still have a few of the sit-down cabinets. This is where you're going to mostly find the fighting games, like Street Fighter 6, but there's also a cabinet back here running the Sega version of Tetris. Plus, some of the games on the Nessica Cross Live systems include shmups, puzzle games, and other retro titles. This section over here to the left of the south parking lot entrance has most of the remaining Redemption games, but this area actually goes along the sidewall all the way over to the old mall entrance that's now closed off. And now we're getting into the meat of it. One of the biggest things Round 1 is known for is their large selection of imported rhythm games, and over here at Exton, they've got a great selection. There's a couple cabinets of the newest version of poppin' music, High Cheers, which is finally making its official stateside debut. The extremely popular Sound Voltex has a pair of Valkyrie model cabinets running the game's latest version, Nabla. You don't often see Guitar Hero right next to Waka, but at Round 1, anything is possible. Over here is a mix of a few more games such as Dance Around, Totote Connect, which is offline, Music Diver, Pump It Up, and over in the corner, they've got Gitadora, including both the latest versions of Guitar Freaks and Drum Mania. There's one cabinet of offline Tunithm next to a pair of online My Deluxe cabs. Then we've got Dance Rush Stardom alongside a pair of DDR cabinets. If you love Hatsune Miku, you can play Project Diva over here, right next to the uniquely bizarre Chrono Circle. Not enough My Deluxe for you? How about a third cabinet? Taiko no Tatsujin makes an appearance here, as does the Lightning model of Beatmania 2DX. And that's about it for the rhythm games section. But believe it or not, we'll see one more rhythm game a little later on in this tour. But for now, let's head to the Mega Crane Zone. This is the other thing Round 1 is well known for, having a huge variety of claw machines with a ton of different prizes, from plushes to figurines, with a lot of collaborations for popular anime series. Let's take a walk through this area. So we've mostly made it out of the Mega Crane Zone. No joke, it feels like that section goes on forever. Over here by the game card and bowling counters, there's a few miscellaneous games mixed in. A couple more ticket games, a couple more prize games, and then they have this gigantic Kaiju Rampage rail shooter. Look at this thing. There's a few final claw machines over here, plus a few more unique prize games like Treasure Road and Tripod. Hey, remember when I said there was one more rhythm game hiding out here? Well, let me introduce you to the latest entry in Konami's Bimani series. This is Dance Dance Revolution STOMP. Yeah, that's right. They turned DDR into a ticket game. Finally, you can put those steps to work and start grinding spins and crossovers for tickets. Well, moving on from that, it's time to check out the coin pusher section. But before that, let's take a quick brief look at the bowling lanes. Not going to spend too long here because it looks like there's a couple of parties in progress. But yeah, coin pushers are such big business at Round 1 that they get their own dedicated section. And they've got a pretty big variety of games here, including another new surprise title that I wasn't expecting to find. You'll see that in a minute. And there's that surprise debut. It's a brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coin pusher from Konami. As you all know, this isn't the first time the Turtles and Konami have teamed up. They were behind the classic beat-em-up arcade games from the early 90s, as well as the NES, Game Boy, and Super Nintendo games. So the Turtles are back, in coin pusher card collecting form. If you listen closely, you can hear that background music is straight out of the old Turtles in Time game. Very cool. Alright, we've looked at pretty much everything on this side of the arcade. There's a few more games and other things happening near the east parking lot entrance, and we'll head over there in a minute to check all that out. Over here is the food court section. Technically, the only place left in Exton Square to get a bite to eat, which is wild. But then, along this side wall, there's a selection of a few pinball machines. All these games are from Stern and approximately a decade old. There's 3 titles here from their Insider era, but none of them are connected to the online services. And I have to be honest with you, none of these are in particularly good shape. Pinball isn't exactly one of Round 1's strong points. If you're looking for pinball, you'd be best served by checking out some of the other arcades in the area, notably the Pinball Gallery just a stone's throw away in Malvern. Okay, the last little section of games is back here near the east parking lot entrance. You may have already seen the ping pong tables in that section with the net, but there isn't really any rhyme or reason to what's left back in this area. It's really just a hodgepodge mix of stuff that couldn't be fit into the other spots. Here's another surprise title that just popped up over here. This is Super Punch Mania, another new game from Konami. If you're an old head like me, you might remember Fighting Mania from the early 2000s. That was a game where you punched pads and fought against Fist of the North Star characters. Well, turns out the name of that game in Japan was actually Punch Mania, making this an honest-to-goodness reboot of the series almost a quarter of a century later. Granted, there's some differences. No anime characters this time, instead, realistic-looking boxing opponents. And the targets don't swing out at you, they're just stationary speed bags. But otherwise, it's a pretty cool nod towards their past, and yet another way that Konami is taking some of their older properties and making them appropriate for a new audience that's hungry for ticket games. The rest of the stuff in this section back here are some billiards tables and private karaoke rooms. Like I said, there wasn't too much over on this side. The last area I want to check before we head out? The Victory Zone, their prize redemption area. It's always cool to see what prizes are on offer. Fun fact, this location is where I redeemed my tickets for a PS5 a couple years back. We had so many sets of Smash Stadium cards, it took nearly an hour to process all of them. Overall, this is a really impressive Round 1 location. They've got a massive collection of different games, all shapes and sorts. That rhythm game collection is one of the best in the chain. The coin pushers are overwhelming, and the claw machines even more so. It was cool to see a bunch of brand new games out on the floor here, and I hope to see them make their way to my local Round 1s in the near future. It's a testament to how popular this chain is that even when the mall in which they're located is shutting down permanently, this arcade is gonna keep on kicking for years to come. I've been Christopher J, Sick Hands RBN, reminding you to like, comment, subscribe, or join, and I'll see you all next time. Hey, it's me, Christopher J, Sick Hands RBN. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video, and very special thanks to all of our channel's fans, super fans, and sponsors. If you want to help support more arcade tour videos and road trips, please click the join link on the end card here or down in the description for more information on channel memberships. See you all next time.